Well, good afternoon, Michiganders. It is Tuesday, October 4, 2022. And of course, this is Tuesday with Tom, Michigan's only weekly internet program where we do answer your questions about estate planning and estate settlement in Michigan. And we don't send you a bill. Of course, I'm your host, Tom Doyle, estate planning attorney, lifelong Michigan resident, and ambassador for all things good in this great state of Michigan. Welcome to today's program. Brief review, last week's episode. Have you set up legacy contacts for your online accounts? I talked about the three major online services, which would be Apple, Google, and Facebook, and how you can go about setting up legacy contacts. That would be somebody who would have access to your account information at the time of your death. If you haven't considered that, pretty much everybody out there seems to be doing things online. It's important for you to have things lined up so that in the event of your death, somebody that you have trust and confidence in is going to have access to your electronic data. So I encourage you, listen to last week's episode. Today's episode is your chance of dying greater during a recession? Is your chance of dying greater during a recession? But please remember, what I'm about to discuss during the program is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to be legal advice. As always, you need to work with your attorney to determine what is appropriate for you and your estate plan. Something I'd been thinking about quite a bit during this either pre-recession, recession, whatever the economic circumstances are that we find ourselves in. And it's kind of a historical thing in many respects. There seemed to be, when certain things happened, many of us kind of hold our breath, waiting to see what's going to happen next. Think of 9/11. Kind of the world, or at least the U.S., seemed to come to a screaming halt. People didn't want to spend their money. They didn't want to travel. They didn't want to do a lot of things, just holding their collective breath, waiting to see what was going to happen. Similarly, if you look at downturns in the economy, many times when there's been a downturn in the economy, it seems like people are holding their breaths, waiting to see what's going to happen. And that plays out, too, in the world of estate planning. What you find very often is during those times when people are collectively holding their breath, many people pause any thoughts that they had or any desires that they had or any process that they were undertaking to put their estate plan into place. And during a recession, that happens. People sit back and think, well, economic times aren't good. I'm going to now wait. Maybe I was about ready to meet with my attorney to get my estate plan going. I'm going to wait till I see what happens with the economy. So the question, which I think is not an unreasonable to ask, is your chance of dying greater during a recession? It would seem on its face that perhaps it is. People are worried about things. People are concerned about things. Perhaps we're not taking as good care of ourselves. We're not exercising as we should. Maybe we don't have the resources as we would to eat as we normally would. Maybe we're not able to travel as we might otherwise do, which puts stress on. So clearly there are stresses related with living in recessionary times. Just go to the gas station and put gas in your car. And it's not a fun experience, if you will, when we're suddenly paying over $4 a gallon for gas. So I look at people and they will say, I'm going to wait until the recession is over, then I'll worry about getting my estate plan done. So question, is your chance of dying during a recession any greater than in good economic times? And the research that I have come across essentially says no. That's the good news. Your risk of dying during a recession doesn't go up. It's not any greater simply because of the concerns that you're having or the emotional distress that you're suffering from in general. Now, obviously, today's a little bit complicated too in today's world because we still have COVID with us. As much as we might want to think that we don't, we still have COVID with us. But if we just kind of take the COVID piece out and look at the economic uncertainty that we are involved in, it would appear, at least from the research that I've been doing, that there is not a greater chance of you dying during a recession. So one could look and say, you can wait. You can wait. If there was a greater chance of dying in a recession, then the argument would be, well, all the more reason to get your estate plan together. If your chances of dying are going up and you want to make sure that your family's taken care of, logic would suggest then get your estate plan together. But kind of the opposite of what we seem to think, and that would be that your chances of dying are not any greater during a recession than any other time. That's the good news. But the bad news is still your chance of dying during a recession is the same as it was before the recession, is the same as it was after the recession, which means your chance of dying today is essentially the same that it was yesterday, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, a year ago, unless, of course, you've got some health issues that are occurring in your life. So there's still obviously, it should go without saying, but it's still obviously, there is a chance of dying, which doesn't change. And it's a little bit frustrating for me as an attorney when I'm talking to people and they'll say to me, well, Tom, I've got a lot of things on my plate now. Fall is here. Kids are going back to school. Grandkids are going back to school. We've got concerns about money. We've got concerns about COVID. We've got holidays coming up. So I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait until the springtime. After I kind of get through all of this holiday stuff and everything else, hopefully the economy will doing better, and I will simply wait until the springtime before I'm going to make a decision about getting my estate plan or proceed with getting my estate plan prepared. And when they say that to me, I simply ask them to make one promise to me. And so if you're sitting out there right now listening to this program thinking, I too am going to wait. I'm going to wait until either we get through the holidays, or I'm going to wait until we get through the winter, or I'm going to wait until spring, or I'm going to wait. I ask you and I ask them to simply make me one promise, and that is this. Just don't die in the meantime. Because if you don't die in the meantime, it didn't matter. Obviously, I say that a little bit facetiously because nobody can promise that they won't die in the meantime. Because nobody knows when they're going to die. And we tend to forget that sometimes. And the whole point of getting your estate plan done while you are able to, and I talk about this when I do a seminar and we talk about one of the 6 most common estate planning mistakes that people make is they will sit and say, my estate planning can wait. I don't have to worry about it today. It can wait until next month, next year, next spring, next summer. My estate planning can wait. Well, why do we do estate planning now? We do estate planning now because we truly know, although we don't want to admit it, that death doesn't wait. Death is going to occur. We simply don't know when. I talk about in a seminar. Think about the things that you do for things that might never happen to you. but you're concerned about the possibility that it's going to happen, and so you do something. For example, most of us drive cars. We have insurance on our car, and setting aside the fact that the state of Michigan requires you to have insurance on your car, we have insurance on our car. Why? Because we might have an accident, and we might get injured, or we might have damage to our car. So we buy insurance to protect us from something that might happen. You have a house. Most of us with our house, certainly if you're going to have a mortgage on the house, it's going to be required, are going to have homeowners insurance, going to have fire insurance. Why do we have fire insurance on our home? Because there might be a fire and our home might be damaged or destroyed in the fire. Now, the odds are, if you look at it statistically, the odds are you're not going to have a fire in your home. But we are concerned about something that could happen. Because we're concerned about something that could happen, we opt to insure against it. So those are a couple examples of just some of the things that we do every day protecting ourselves from something that might happen. If we're going to do all of that, if we're going to do those things protecting ourselves from things that might happen, then the question is, what have you done to protect your family from something that you know will happen? Not might happen, will happen. We will die. We just don't know when. And it's that uncertainty about when, it's the certainty that we know it will happen, but the uncertainty about when, which really should cause us to make sure that we take the time now to look at our situation, to take the time now to look at what do we have and who's our family and what do we want to do with our estate if something happens to us, to take the time now, even during a time of recession, even during a time of uncertainty, even during the time of holidays coming up when we're all going to be busy with other things, we should be taking the time now to make sure that we have our ducks in order, as you might say, our estate plan in order, whatever that happens to be, whether it's simply using beneficiary designations, or maybe having a living trust or having wills, certainly having powers of attorney, healthcare powers of attorney, durable powers of attorney, all of these things that are part of an important and complete estate plan today. It's important that you take the time to get that taken care of now, because one day it will be too late. Of course, Amanda and I would be honored to have the opportunity to help you protect your loved ones by putting together your estate plan, amending a plan that you have, or assisting you in settling a loved one's estate. Head on over to DoyleLawPC.com. That's our website. That's where you're going to find the virtual office. That's where you're going to find all the information there about how it is you can schedule an appointment with us, get together. It'll be a Zoom or telephone call normally. You can download a copy of our free estate planning guidebook, but it'll give you information on and give you the ability to get things going to get your estate plan done. If you're a current client and you're looking at updating your estate plan, again, in the virtual office at DoyleLawPC.com, you're going to find information on our Update My Plan program, which is there to assist you in getting your estate plans updated. And as always, if all you have is an individual document that you're looking at, maybe you simply need a new certificate of trust or you need a new power of attorney, we provide you with a legal store so that you can order individual documents online. All of that through the DoyleLawPC.com website is designed to assist you in getting your plan done, getting it professionally prepared, making sure that you are taking action now to protect your family in the event that something were to happen to you. Well, I think that's going to be it for today's program. It's kind of perhaps a little bit shorter than most of them, but I just wanted to cover that topic because it was on my mind when I was talking to some of the clients recently, or talking to some individuals who were thinking about getting their estate plans done, about them thinking that they needed to wait until a later date to do that. But as always, if you have a comment about the program or a topic that you'd like to have me discuss, or perhaps questions that you'd like to have me answer, please send me an email, tom@tuesdaywithtom.com, or mail me a postcard, Tom Doyle, P.O. Box 3752, Grand Rapids, Michigan, 49501. And always, as always, please follow us on Facebook and Twitter. That would be Tuesday with Tom. Follow the office as well. That's Doyle Law PC on both Facebook and Twitter. And invite your friends and family to follow us as well. As always, the program is available probably anywhere that you want to listen to a podcast, be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and others. And you can always ask your smart speaker to play Tuesday with Tom for you. Thank you again, though, for spending some of your Tuesday afternoon with me today. And as always, I hope that you have an awesome day and an awesome week in Michigan. Stay safe now. Tuesday with Tom has been brought to you by the estate planning attorneys at Doyle Law PC. To learn how we can help you with your estate plan or with settling a loved one's estate, please call us today at 517-323-7366. That's 517-323-7366.